In today's Gospel from St. Luke, Jesus strongly condemns those who ignore the poor. The rich man who has everything, who lives in luxury, ignores Lazarus, the poor beggar, just outside his door. He's absorbed in himself, in his good life. God judges him severely. Now, parables often make their point very simply. In this story, for example, did you notice we don't know the rich man's name? In real life, everyone would know his name. He's rich, he's famous, but he has no name in the parable. God doesn't want to know him. God knows the poor man's name. Again, in real life, hardly anyone would want to know his name. God knows his name. He's Lazarus, and God raises him up to the heights of heaven. If we had this parable alone this Sunday, we might settle for blaming rich people for not taking care of the poor. But it's not rich people alone who neglect the poor. Ordinary people can neglect them too. That's why our first reading from the prophet Amos is important for the bigger picture it presents. Amos was an ordinary sheep breeder. He bred sheep in northern Israel about 700 years before Christ. Israel then was very prosperous, and so were the countries around her. But their prosperity came at a price. It came at the expense of the poor. Amos fiercely indicts not only the elite of Israel, but her neighbors as well, lying upon beds of ivory, stretched comfortably on their couches, eating the best food, drinking the best wines, not caring at all about those who are desperate around them. And what's interesting about Amos's attack on those who are bilking the poor is that he's not making sure, for example, that sheep herders like himself are taken care of. He's not looking at things with his own interests in mind. What he says is beyond his personal interests or any political plan for reform. He says simply, you can't have religion without justice. You can't say you believe in God and ignore the poor. Religion without justice is an affront to God, who wishes all his children to be justly cared for and loved. It would be good for all of us if we could look at the world that way, wouldn't it? We have a lot of inequalities in our world today. The poor are still with us. It would be good if we had the clear vision of Amos, the clear vision of Jesus. That would make a difference.